Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lowell Park. I know you can't see that you're in Lowell Park, but you are. You're here with us as we are straight into the draft already. There are bans that have come through as we see Lilia taken off the board alongside the Graves. Two of those powerhouse junglers no longer available here. As Top Esports don't want to see them in the hands of Pioshik, as Caitlyn also off the board. Ash, Lucian, and Syndra taken away by DRX, and of course, Nidalee has to be the first pick, and it will be locked away. What does CV Max have for us here today, LS? That is going to be my big question.
This is going to be a pretty interesting one indeed. This is a super big matchup for these two teams. Lots of people favoring Top Esports coming into this, but DRX, we'll see if they can find a way to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, and they wouldn't surprise me, of course, if you had a look at my predictions. I was the only person today that predicted that DRX were going to win. I then tweeted that I assume I'm going to be 5 out of 6, and I am currently 4 out of 5. So let's see whether it is going to work out here as DRX do take away the Twisted Fate for Chovy. He is a very, very good Twisted Fate player, does like to facilitate for his team. That's why you see him playing tanks a lot and why we're not too worried about it. As Pioshik's going to take away the Lee Sin. And I was expecting the other side of this matchup, LS, because Casa is so damn good at Lee Sin. But no, he gets his hands on the fantastic Nidalee, denies it from Pioshik at the same time, as Nidalee Renekton from China is a very, very scary prospect.
And we'll see what the final pick is going to be here for the first pick phase by Top Esports. They know, I mean, they know that Chovy on Twisted Fate, they know how he's going to try to play. I'm curious what Knight wants to take into this. But no, he's not going to actually choose it just yet. They want to get their hands on Senna. Now, this is interesting because Deft is one of the players that can actually play some mages that are good against Senna, like Ziggs.
Yep. Down
in the bot lane. And so that would be a pretty interesting dynamic. But, okay, Quinn, insta-locked.
All right, well, Doran is going to be picking that one up, taking that one into the Renekton. This is a matchup that has been very, very strange globally. In China, Quinn into Renekton is hard counter insta-win. What we experienced in the LCK is sometimes the Renekton wins that matchup. So I'm not entirely sure how this one is going to go. But this is a game that the Des was talking about, right? There are some matchups that are just so incredibly exciting.
Yes.
Knight versus Chovy is probably what everyone's eyes are glued to. Jackie Love versus Deft is another incredibly hype matchup. We all remember the semifinal, I believe it was, in 2018. Where KT took on IG. That was the Deft versus Jackie Love matchup, and we now get to see it once again. And speaking of Deft, he's going to have two of his champions taken away. Probably two of his most famous, as the Ezreal and Kalista are taken off the board. And Knight is going to be focused here with the Orianna and the Galio taken away.
Yeah, and they're pinching Marksman, and this is a little bit surprising because... Whoa!
What? Okay, guys, so Deft, not necessarily a Draven player in the LCK. He does like to play it on his stream sometimes, but we'll have to see whether it's going to be Draven or Praven here, because we know Prey, phenomenal 80 carry. His Draven never really managed to get off the ground, as that's a Nocturne. Is that mid-Nocturne into the Twisted Fate? That could be. That sounds like a thing Knight would do.
Yeah, we might be seeing Nocturne. Wow.
And that's what they needed. They needed AD in the mid lane, and they needed something that could actually lane pretty effectively into the Twisted Fate. And with Twisted Fate having such a longer cooldown on the picker card, you're not going to really get stunned because you have that shield on your W. I quite like it.
I really wonder how much Chovy has played against mid Nocturne. There is a Nocturne one trick in Korean Challenger that plays mid and top Nocturne, so maybe Chovy's run into him
it was also
a couple of times
in the Kesper Cup at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
So certainly something that Chovy has dealt with. Probably also listens to a lot of Vedius's casting.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably knows all about the Nocturne.
Listen, Vedius isn't here to cast mid Nocturne, but I'm here to guarantee Renekton wins. So, if I've learned anything today.
Well, he was 0-5, and now he's 2-0 on the day. So he's also in this game, and Top Esports are an extraordinarily good team against our eclectic DRX, might I say. However, they have put themselves together a pretty exciting composition, one that can get around the map extraordinarily easily and quickly, and they do have a lot of early game prowess, plus TV Max is in a suit. So guys, that is saying a lot here and showing that he's definitely getting serious, because it is Worlds and this is exactly where you need to. But now the players have to do the talking. So the coaches are going to go in for a fist bump. And we'll have to get this one underway. Oh man, so this is the title match of the day.
Yes.
I feel like, in actuality, we had that in our last match. FlyQuest versus UOL was so incredibly exciting. But both of these teams, and with these compositions, now have an opportunity to do some even more crazy stuff. Shenanigans could be afoot here in this particular game, especially on the DRX side. They've got the Quinn that could be split pushing, could be anywhere on the map. Then they have to play around it with the Twisted Fate there, offering vision, but then you've got Paranoia to deny it immediately. Oh man, this is very, very exciting. And we used to see this all the time. Twisted Fate being picked up, and then immediately it's Jungle Nocturne picked into it to deny that Destiny Gate combo.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see how DRX are going to manage to juggle this. Their team composition is all about getting ahead early. It's all about accelerating. They have the 2 gold passive users on one team. You have Twisted Fate, you have Draven.
Yep.
And if they start snowballing, TES have nothing in their team composition to stabilize. So this is really going to be an all eyes on the early mid-game transition kind of a game. And if DRX don't manage to get ahead, for them, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily out. Draven can cash in at any point.
Yep.
They do have a very beefy squad at fighting on 2 and 3 items, respectively, as well. And Nocturne, he can definitely be causing some problems for them.
He certainly can, and I think that most people's eyes were going to be on Knight anyway, but now he's playing mid-Nocturne, so even more, that's going to be where we're looking. But I want to take those eyes away just for a moment and have a focus on a couple of the lanes that I think are going to be very, very important here and are going to show just how favored top esports are in this matchup. And that is just the extreme amount of experience difference between Karsa and Pioshik. And then top side of the map, 369 has been doing amazing things on the world stage multiple years in a row, and Doran hasn't really been able to. Of course, was on the Griffin squad that went to Worlds last year, but wasn't actually able to play, much to a lot of people's dismay. To be perfectly honest, we actually felt he deserved to go, but didn't get to play there, so he's now going to be here, seeing what he can do on the Quinn in theoretically a good matchup. This is 369. What's going to happen?
Yeah, he has the cleanse up there in top lane. Press the attack versus press the attack. Dark Harvest on Karsa, on the Nidalee. And I'm expecting a glass cannon Nidalee this game. No supportive Athenes or Mikhail's going to be being purchased by Karsa. The call start by Doran as well is definitely going to be good. Chovy has the unsealed spellbook, and Knight with a bit of an interesting itemization. He's going refillable with Longsword. I wonder if he's anticipating trying to cheat a recall on Chovy.
He might be. See whether he's going to be able to get that one off. Of course, not going to have as much sustain as he would have liked, or at least stat efficiency in that Doran's blade that he would have otherwise liked to pick up. The TF doesn't put down a whole lot of pressure on you in the earlier stages, as now we're checking in on the bottom side as Deft with his fancy new Draven skin, seeing what he can get done as Doran's vaulting on in onto 369 and already pressing the attack on this Renekton. 369 shouting out to Marin, I believe, who is the owner of that particular Renekton skin.
Meanwhile, here in mid lane, Chovy has a little bit of control over the lane, and this should be expected, obviously, in the early stages. Eyes definitely need to be on Draven in the bot lane. That skin looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a cool one.
The Axe logo is pretty interesting as well. Top Esports, they're just taking the lane a little bit slow as they're trying to crash it in.
It reminds me of the Mechonis people from the Xenoblade series. If anyone knows, that's what that Draven skin feels like to me, is Doran is going to proc that Harrier, and 369 is doing his best to try and pick up as many minions as possible, but there's a large wave stacked up, so you can see that currently it's double in favor of Doran. It doesn't necessarily spell exactly that. DRX. Cast is moving over to the bottom side of his jungle. Kyoshik as well here on his Lee Sin. This was definitely one of his comfort picks. He loved this one, but had ups and downs on this champion, definitely. As Hook is going to land there. That's a great double play to come through from Carrier as Jackie Love a little bit out of position. They get double wards down into this brush as Yuyanja has to get the hell out of there. Tahm Kench, of course, pretty difficult to lock down and murder straight away, but that's Exhaust now on cooldown, traded for that Ignite. It was already picked up, and Kasa is in the area if TES get in trouble again. Yeah,
and I mean, making use of that sweeper lens as well. They get 2 wards for free.
Yeah, there we go.
Which is definitely a nice little bit of free gold. Oh, man.
Yep, Standicide is going to come through. There is a very good Devour from Yuyanja. Does mean that top esports are a little bit more vulnerable for the next few seconds. Of course, a lot of seconds now, considering the amount of nerfs that ability's taken. Is now Deft going to utilize it, trying to get as much damage down. Clicks on the lantern at the last second. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana remaining as Piercing Darkness does come in. And now Kyoshik looking for his gank opportunity. He's very well aware of this control ward that's in this position. And there's the vault forward. 369 taking a lot of damage. And there's the flash out of Kyoshik. There's still no. The Q is going to miss. The flash forward and still gets the first blood. DRX are on the board.
And that is a very big kill for them because look at the size of this minion wave. So many minions. And 369 already teleported.
Yeah, that is
all of this into the void.
I was looking over at you. I was thinking, oh no, but he just teleports back, right? He's going to be okay. But no, Doran had put on so much pressure. He already had to use it.
Yeah.
Disaster.
And that is a very big edge up in top lane on one of the primary carry champions that DRX have inside of their team composition. If Quinn, she's going to reset right now. Renekton, I don't know what he's supposed to do. Vampiric Scepter, Dagger, picked up by Doran.
Yeah,
369's out of this lane without any aid from Karsa.
And that was with a cull start as well. It's all going to get even worse as those numbers start ticking down. Doran will be theoretically on a kill and an assist when that one's completed, even if Kyoshik doesn't come up and kill 369 again. And now without his flash, he might be able to. They did have to invest both of their flashes though, so an opportunity for Karsa to maybe pounce. No pun intended, of course.
And we'll see what he can do. So far, he's just been power farming. Kyoshik gonna take the Wolf Camp, get the Raptors, and by that time, his bot lane's almost returned down to bot, and Italy resetting. And so Scuttle Crab spawning on the right-hand side. This is actually pretty good RNG for DRX. Things are definitely working out for them. Yep. Knight with the Tiamat versus the Catalyst. Currently in mid lane, Chovy has Destiny Gate available. Knight, obviously, with Paranoia there to follow.
Yeah, and this is where we need to go back in time and talk about the old Nocturne, but no, we're not going to be able to. Yuyanja is going to face-check Kyoshik, who just safeguards his way out. Carrier lying in wait. Put some T-Towels on him. That's Chovy. Cycling through some cards, but that's a really nice shield there from Knight, and a good spear from Karsa as well to put some damage down onto the Twisted Fate. Gotta make sure we keep our eye out for exactly when this Destiny Gate is going to be utilized for the first time, because of course the Paranoia is going to be very important. It's weird calling it a counter, right? Because you can still use the gate.
Yes.
You just don't know where the opponents are until you get there. So it's just going to mean very clear, crisp communication out of DRX to make sure they can get that one working. Speaking of communicating things, they've told Kyoshik to go and get a dragon. He's going to get to work on that right now. Karsa just putting some traps down, but they have no idea that this is being taken. And when the dragon starts yelling, that's when they'll know. As Paranoia comes in, flash out immediately, but the follow flash comes in. Knight, no mana actually, so not going to be able to Dusk Bring, but all cards are immediately exhausted. And that's going to keep Chovy alive really quick on the fingers. Somehow that Q landed onto Knight, no idea. But Kyoshik not going to get the Lee Syndrome this time. And will just help clear out this minion wave for Chovy. I don't know how Chovy survived that. I feel like he shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, and he manages to live, and this is pretty big for DRX because now Knight very low on mana. He does have the team out, so he can wave clear really fast, but Chovy's getting a pretty nice reset off here. He's gonna pick up the Seeker's Arm Guard, so not powering straight into the Rod of Ages.
And also, I feel like Flash is far more valuable on the Nocturne than it is on the Twisted Fate, right? Because Twisted Fate's going to be, you know, running around. He does have range. He can always just search for those gold cards without having to necessarily flash for them. But Knight, if he's going to stick on someone, he needs to be able to flash after them in order to lock down a lot of these kills. Thankfully for him, he's up against, you know, things like Draven and And Thresh, that aren't necessarily super mobile, as Doran is going to get himself a bit of a vault there onto 369. Down some autos. You can see the Renekton not out of the game levels of behind in this matchup, and now at least has the Ninja Tabi complete.
Yep. Meanwhile, down in bottom lane, Jacula very far ahead in the CS department against Deft. About to get himself a plate as well. Deft very low on mana yet again.
Yeah, it's not really working out here towards the bottom side of the map.
Didn't quite see Karsa, who's been pretty invisible so far this game. And Pioshik coming in here, he might just start. Rift Herald, no, he's gonna get the Scuttle Crab first, I assume. He's waiting to see if anyone's gonna come over and try to, ooh, Destiny Gate available.
Yeah, he's gonna come in, there's the Destiny Gate, no paranoia up. There's a good fear, but gold card's gonna come through, and there are just not quite enough shields available for this Nocturne, and Knight is gonna be taken down. Great patience there from Pioshik. Lying in wait, thinking that maybe there was something afoot, as that Spear steal was just god tier. And we're expecting some exciting things. So far, the draft has been exciting, and also that Spear is incredibly exciting. And it just continues on from there. Top lane gank, fantastic work from Pioshik to try and lock that one down. The DRX are 2-0, not out of the woods just yet as Karsa. These spears coming on in, he's trying to steal this one away. Not entirely sure who took it, and Pioshik is going to show us that it was DRX. That spear's going to miss his carrier. Finally, just going to try and flash his way out. He's going to be the sacrificial Thresh, and Jackie Love is going to get some revenge, some law revenge against that gentleman. Not going back into his lantern today.
Yeah. And TES, they are bouncing back. So far, 2 kills are on the Lee Sin as well. Chovy probably going to reset here shortly. Don't think he has enough gold yet for the Rod of Ages outright. Maybe he'll try to stay inside of the lane a little bit longer. He does still have another corrupting potion, so he can sustain a little bit, but he's not moving over to get the blue buff.
Yeah.
Or, no, okay.
Have some range, so Pioshik's just like, come on, dude.
Oh yeah, the cannon is gonna buy enough time.
Yeah.
So it looks like Chovy wanted to get the melees because the melee would die into the turret, so truly trying to min-max there.
Sounds like a Chovy thing to do.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know, Chovy is known for being ahead by about 20 CS against literally everyone, ever. In lane, so for Knight to be behind 30 CS in a melee versus range matchup that can be very difficult early on until you can start insta-clearing those waves with the Umbral Blades and the, of course, the Duskbringer and your Tiamat. It can be very difficult, so this is absolutely fine. For Top Esports, they are 2,000 gold behind, as Jackie Love is not going to push for that last plate that could have been possible. Still 3 minutes before they do drop. As now you've got Karsa and Knight making their way down towards the bottom side.
Oh, nice.
Is going to connect. Vox comes down as well, Yanja. The Whirling Death comes in. There's the Paranoia. Explosion of damage for the heal. Is going to keep Carrier alive. Dawning Shadow says no, however. And the Thresh will bite the dust. 2-2 the kill score now, but Deft might just be the third one here for Top. Picking up these axes. And there isn't a minion wave. He's trying to play the Dance Dance Revolution where he can. And it's working out pretty well so far. As I say it, he will be taken down, but it took 5 people. So pretty well done there from Deft to dodge away from as many things as possible. In the meantime, DRX are taking down inner turret, mid turret and top lane turret as well, with a fair bit of damage as the Rift Herald is going to get summoned, and that's going to lock down these last couple of plates. So if I was a DRX fan, and I am, I'd probably say that this was...
Well, they are still very far ahead in the gold lead, but Infernal Dragon's going to be picked up by Top Esports. They also took a lot of stacks off the Draven, set him behind, so he's not going to have as big of a cash-in in the event that Deft does end up getting a kill. And there it is, Blade of the Ruin King completed there on Doran, and 369 is freezing, it seems. A little bit of a savant, it seems like.
This game's got it all.
Antarctica up in the top lane. As we take a look, Paranoia comes in, gets on to carry, the heal comes out, and honestly, Deft with some phenomenal footwork.
He did buy like a crazy amount of time that he probably shouldn't have been able to buy here. He was definitely gonna die, right? But this was definitely pretty cute.
Well, we can definitely see here DRX are still in the driver's seat, and we mentioned early on, if their team composition gets ahead, it's very hard for TES to actually stabilize, because of the nature of their champions also rely on being ahead.
Apart from Senna, I feel like Jackie Love is playing extraordinarily well. A 24 CS lead against Draven, especially, you know, Draven Thresh. This is one of the best early game lanes that you can have. And Jackie Love's been playing it out very well. One of the answers that you can have to that situation is the fact that DRX are playing around their top side far more than they are their bottom lane. They're leaving it on an island and not really giving too many resources. But still, that is not something that's normal. Jackie Love playing very, very well. And has all year. You know, he transformed this top esports team into the team that they are today.
And I really like this. You see the question mark pings. Renekton just keeps freezing to try to hold Quinn at this uncomfortable position. Because this means that Doran, he has to play way further up, so anytime Nocturne disappears to the left-hand side, Doran has to be very respectful. He needs to back up. And this also, I mean, he can't get the wave, and now 369 can continue just holding it there on the left-hand side if he chooses to, but he might insta-shove the wave because he has a black he does, okay. So he's gonna recall.
We saw him slicing and dicing at mini-map. As Pyoshik goes in at the last second, lands another Q on the Yanja, but he's going to make it to his pixel brush and he'll be absolutely fine. As Chovy coming on over, looking to try and clear out vision where he can. He has done a lot of damage to this turret, and that's a lot of where DRX's lead are. It's in, of course, Twisted Fate, just being Twisted Fate, but also in the amount of plates that they were able to gather for themselves in mid and top lane. Deft back down towards the bottom side of the map, and he's trying to catch up to the lead that Jackie Love does have. Of course, has the most gold on his team, but that's not the most in the game, as Chovy, Doran, and Pyoshik doing pretty well for themselves monetarily. 369 going to come back. Let's see how... Oh, it's not. It's warmed up. You know, where... It's... Yeah.
And check the forecast.
Yeah, I was going to say winter is over. Well and truly.
Well, 2 minutes until that Mountain Dragon comes up. Pretty big Drake for both of these parties. And I like all the Ninja Tab Eyes that are coming out across the entire board. The only thing that's a little surprising, the Ionian Boots on Nocturne. Not having it on himself, valuing the reduced Summoner spell cooldown, as well as just getting the CDR for himself.
Chovy ghosted, just wants to go fast. Value it, as Doran's going to turn up. Spear is going to give away Cass's position, as does his W. Pretty dang good for that. And that's going to be double Heralds going over to DRX in this early game. They still hold on to a lead. If you're a DRX fan, don't rest on your laurels just yet. This is a mid-game comp out of TES that can really get some work done when they're able to get around the map. Let's see whether 369 does it again. What's the season cycle? Oh no, we're still in summer.
He's going pretty slow. You know, I mean, he could have held it a little longer. It would have been...
Spring? Are we in maybe fall?
Yeah, maybe fall. That's actually what it seemed like. It seemed like the leaves were falling off that lane.
Yep, got it.
And had he just held it there, I guess Chovy would Destiny Gate in, but Nocturne would have been able to be in pretty close proximity. But they could have maybe looked for a pick on Doran before the mountain. But seems like they don't want to risk anything. And they're just choosing to err on the side of caution. 20 seconds until that dragon is going to come up. And by the way, as a byproduct of all of this lane ping pong, and the way that the waves have constantly just been locked by Renekton, he's ahead in XP. Doran justing 12. 369 has been 12 for a little while.
Yeah. He's played it out really well so far. Shirley going to turn up here in this mid lane. That's going to say goodnight to this outer turret. It's Jackie Love. He's got his Ghost Blade complete as well as his Manamune. Muramana on its way. Not quite here just yet. Deft with a similar item build, but only a Vamp Scepter. Jackie's very, very big at this point in time. Hook goes out, doesn't find anyone. The box was already placed down as the teleport comes forward. Kyoji's not going to be able to secure the dragon. It's going to be the second for TES, and now the fight is on. The stand aside comes out. Dawning Shadow, a fair bit of damage now as DRX are on the run, but the paranoia says no. That's going to be a dead Quinn. The hook is going to connect here, but Devour exists and will deny any pick potential. Speaking of denial, Carrier is going to deny the death of his AD carry. And DRX walk away without the Dragon and without their top lane.
And that's a lot of just free stats given over to TES by getting that Mountain Dragon, which is so obnoxious against this DRX team composition. So, things are looking pretty good for them as they just bought themselves a lot more time.
I love Jagular. Emote spamming in the middle of the lane by himself. Certainly showing some confidence here. Let's have a look at the Axe replay.
Keria whips the death sentence, and then right here, Pioche barely misses the Smite Fight Karsa, securing it for his team. A really big victory. Dawning Shadow comes out, gets so much value. Paranoia there for the follow-up, and then they're lined up like ants, ready to get roasted as DRX, it's a full-on retreat depth. Can't really do anything this game. He's so far behind on Draven.
Yeah, no, it's... The Adoration stacks need to be stacked back up again after his earlier death, so they are going to be at a decent number now, so we can start looking at the Draven to get a bit of a cash in. But he is really, really far behind, and that's not what you expect in against a center lane. As another Paranoia coming through here as Knight showing his prowess. It is 2 versus 1, and Piochek's going to come forward, make that a 3. As Doran over to the side, he does press W to see that there are 4 people after him, and he gets the bad news. A 1-for-1 trade in the end, as DRX get themselves back to the safety of their bottom lane in a turret. Blow for blow between these two teams.
And the 1-for-1 isn't a totally even 1-for-1. It's a kill on Lee Sin versus a kill on Senna. And anytime Senna's getting the gold at this stage of the game, it's a lot more worthwhile than the jungler.
Okay, bit of an engagement here as Keria. No flash available. He's going to land the hook onto the Renekton. Box goes down for the extra slow. Tempest through as well to try and cripple the Renekton, but he's pretty tanky right now. Warden's Mail on top of everything else, and he will be absolutely fine. Backs away. 2.5 minutes on this Mountain Drake will be the second one of those for top esports, and we'll get them to Soul Point as well. As DRX still clinging to this 2,000 gold lead, but you can feel the momentum of the game shifting over to TES. 369, this looks like he's out of position. Can't really riddle a way out of that one, as Doran's going to be able to lock down that kill pretty comfortably. Chovy very close to having his teleport back available if he wants to defend mid.
Well, still a 2,000 gold lead right now for DRX. A lot of that is inside of Twisted Fate's passive, as Chovy's at 225 farm right now, and this game at 20 minutes.
Oh, Chovy's booking it towards the top side. He presses his R button in order to do so. He's going to spot everyone out, know exactly what's going on here as the split pushing continues for Doran on the bottom side. Wants to go up towards the sky as Knight is lurking, but you can see Doran. Yeah. Oh no, he was spotted, and that is going to be that. That's a decent Volt to try and get out of the way, but the fear is too strong, and Knight locks down yet another kill on the Quinn.
And just really, really sad right now for Quinn. Can't really go into the side lane against this Nocturne.
Yeah, we're going to start calling the side lanes the hen house. And, we'll call the Nocturne the wolf at this point. Because I feel like Doran, whenever he's there, he's just free food for Knight.
And top esports, they're slowly but surely clawing their way back into the game. Not that they've ever really lost control, but the gold lead.
Yeah, right. This gold lead has not changed, really, until now. That turret being taken does give them a bit extra back as Yacha grabs himself a blue buff as he tried to spit it on his teammates. Still having a bit of fun here, top.
35 seconds until that Mountain Dragon comes up. I like that Renekton is not continuing to power into any sort of physical damage items. He's just going down to the tank route, and with Mountain Dragons constantly coming up, it's really good. He's getting the Ronduin. It's going to be super effective against all of the members on DRX. Yep. And Nidalee actually did go for the utility build. So, not going for Glass Cannon. I wonder if this is a pivot because Karsa wasn't getting accelerated early on.
I actually really like that. Going utility if you aren't able to get that snowball. If you're able to get a bit of a snowball, you go Rod of Ages. And if you get a mega snowball, you just go Lich Bane and kill everyone. It's sort of how it feels to me.
Oh,
DRX,
man.
They walk past a ward and start smacking a Baron. They notice that the rest of top esports are going to move on back here. That's going to be a free soul point in trade for potentially this Baron. as the Dragon was actually disengaged from, so DRX going to be happy that that's not going to be taken down, as Top do manage to come through and stop the Baron.
And we are beginning to see some of the same problems that plagued DRX in the LCK, where their macro in mid to late game is very non-existent if Chovy isn't the one who's able to facilitate things and really get the ball rolling. And TES are just slowly breaking them apart at pretty much every stage. Second Mountain Dragon picked up.
Well, you've got a potential kill onto 369, but Knight's trying to say no as that's the flash out. Quinn has to get out of there, knows exactly how that one works, as the Lee Sin's just going to get bopped. Knight going to survive on the back end, and now Chovy having to deal with 3 other people. The Devour there for fun from Yuyanja as the Zhonya's comes in.
Oof.
And that is a very dead Twisted Fate. Doran trying to keep himself alive as the spear is not going to quite go far enough to take down Doran, but I really feel like DRX have ran out of gas right now.
Yeah, I really feel like they're out of fuel. 12% armor and MR amplification is not present, obviously, on the gold board, but TS are just so far ahead now at this point. The Quinn is in shambles. The itemization out of TES is really, really good. They're going to get themselves the Baron, and let's see what they can do with this Red Bull Baron power play.
Indeed. It is going to be taken very, very easily. No Whirling Death even to try and fish for a potential Miracle Steal. Let's have a look at the Axe replay, see where it all went wrong. I think everyone going underneath against a full tank Renekton was probably the beginning of the problem.
And there was the Paranoia collapse that came from Knight. Chovy trying to run, obviously doesn't know how close in proximity Jackie Love is. And Jackie Love, yet again, by the way, one to get the shutdown. The Senna is massive, almost at 4 items.
Yeah, well, the Baron now going to be encircling Top Esports for the next 2.5 minutes, and let's see what they can do with it already. They've got themselves into the lead, and I have a feeling it's only going to balloon further forward. 3 minutes until the Mountain Soul will be available for them. Knight up here towards the top side is an absolute menace. Chovy has a lot of money, as now Knight might find himself in the wrong spot. He's going to flash, Paranoia comes through as well, but unfortunately, that's most of his mobility now done, especially with Dustbringer no longer there. The rest of Top Esports turn up, but it's a little bit too late. It's going to be a 4 versus 5. Chovy going to get turned on here by 369. Doesn't quite do enough damage with Pyosik. Going to kick the cross. Oh! 3 people. That was extraordinary. Chovy grabs the kill under the shutdown. The cash in for Deft, and they wipe the 4. There goes your Baron power play. It's 1.4 in the hole.
And Chovy instantly goes bot lane, not wanting to miss a beat right now. And DRX, they bring the game back right now. We're going to have a little bit of a reset. When all is said and done, DRX now, they're going to have at least one more song and a dance. Knight was a little bit too far extended up here in top lane. And I was very surprised. Top Esports wanted to handshake this fight 5v4. They went on to Chovy. He's so tanky as Twisted Fate. He's a very misleading mage. And then right here, Dev, off the back of that Lee Sin kick, able to Hulk smash his way into a shutdown on Draven.
That was a triple play into a triple kick knocker, like with the highest health target. Just incredible out of Pyosik and Carrier. Of course, the 2 carries for DRX's first match. You have to remember that nobody else on the team got kills for the majority of that game. That was all about these 2 young rookies. That it was Carrier that stole our hearts during the regular season of the LCK, but it's Pyosik that's really started to come alive here in the World Championship now. 3-1-5. But DRX, they still have an uphill battle. Spear not going to connect. There's the hook on Yuyanja, but he does have that QSS. The Quinn is going to get out, but the Lee Sin not so lucky. And look, anything you can do, I can do better, says DRX as they throw this advantage away.
Well, DRX, even at the end of the Baron thing, it reset the game, but when you factor in the Dragons and everything else, they're still slightly behind, but they would have had one more chance to come back. But now, they're at a pretty big deficit. 50 seconds until that Mountain Soul comes up. And this is going to be really scary. I don't think they're going to be able to win it.
I don't know. I mean, DRX do have a composition that plays 1-3-1 very, very effectively. Maybe not necessarily in the 3, but Quinn and TF are pretty known for being able to get around the map and being frustrating in side lanes. And so that is a way that they could potentially try and throw away some smoke and mirrors as 369 possibly caught out of position, but they have good vision here for TES around this area. 15 seconds on the Mountain Drake. And this is Mountain Soul. This means team fighting is basically off the table entirely for DRX. They will really need to turn the tables in their favor.
Well,
there is the Dragon. Knight coming from base, but he does have max rank now on the Paranoia. That range is extraordinarily high. As Destiny comes in, spots that Top Esports have just started off this Mountain Soul potential. As Destiny is going to put Chovy in position, gold card at the ready. Who's going to start the fight, though? Oh, that's a decent stun there, but they've got heals galore. And Chovy able to get himself out of the way. Down at half health now, though, as Pioshik landing the Q, but is he going to be able to deny this Drake? He is. Actually, no, it's Doran, but whatever. DRX got it. That's absolutely fine. Top Esports still looking for a fight, though. As you can see, Jackie Love going down very, very low. The damage registers before the Devour, and Yuyanja not going to be able to save that chunking. However, Top Esports will save their AD carry. And that is not going to be the Mountain Soul, but is definitely not the end of the world here for Top. It's DRX, they're going to have to do more than that to get themselves into a comfortable position in this game.
and right now, I mean, TS, they get themselves a little bit more time. Lee Sin should be able to complete his next core item as well before that fight takes place. I'm not sure where 369 is going to actually go with his itemization with that Aegis. It could be Solari, it could just be Death Stance.
I don't mind Death Stance because of the bursty nature of DRX, and he wants to be able to go in and kill people.
That's true.
I would like it. However, Pocket of the Iron Solari is an item that we don't see enough of as LCK commentators, so I always like it when I see that one.
And it does seem like, yeah, we got a little bit of a downtime. Boris is here.
But Boris has given Chovy the good books, man. He is, that's the right one. 6 stacks now on the Magia's Soul Stealer.
Ooh, Solari!
And Solari was completed, so 369 going for more of the teamwork croc. I don't know whether Marin would be proud of that, as 369 is, of course, rocking his skin right now. So there's the Destiny. No mysteries here for DRX, but they're still going to lose their inner turret. It's Chovy wondering where he wants to go. And he is looking for a potential fight. Okay, the flash out. Abyssal Voyage comes on forward. Carrier doesn't find the hook. It is going to be able to get out of the way as the box did basically nothing. Now, a few cooldowns unable to be used. Okay, Jackie Love frontlining right now. Deft as well, though, is in trouble. Has to use the heal. Whirling Death comes through.
Solari!
All of the healing. Chovy goes golden at just the right time. Casa doing exactly the same thing, but there is the Nocturne, taking down the Twisted Fate, and now things are starting to fall apart for DRX. Carrier also taking to the death realm as Deft going down so incredibly low. And ladies and gentlemen, I think this might just be the end of the game, as Top Esports do finally find potentially the killing blow if they find a minion wave.
And I think, Atlas, this probably is it. The death timers are way too long. Dragon Kick is available. I don't think it's going to be able to buy enough time. This is 5 champions.
Yeah.
All still alive. Lee can't even 1v1 the Tom Kench.
Carrier's going to be up in 4 seconds time, but I don't know what a Little Thresh is going to be able to do in this moment. The 2 rookies on DRX are going to try as they might to get this one done, but the last Nexus turret is going to be taken down. 5 members of Top Esports make a statement against DRX in their second game. They will remain undefeated in this group and stop Korea's dominant run at Worlds 2020.
And DRX, they had some moments of life inside of this game. The early game was pretty nice for them. Pioshik on Lee Sin was the one getting all the kills. His champion is not the primary carry. He's meant to get the carries, all the kills. He wasn't able to convert it into anything meaningful. The Dragons were all going TES's way. They were very important and integral, and DRX just weren't able to really do anything. Bot lane Kingdom for Top Esports as well. Deft looking very off.
He was. I feel like, you know, this goes back to Deft that we saw more at the end of the season of Summer, but I don't want to take anything away from Jaculov. I think Jaculov has just been absolutely extraordinary for Top Esports for this entire year. Really did breathe new life into the squad. So looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to do moving further forward in this tournament.